Hi and welcome to Winning Ways, our weekly show. James Goodman has gone to the Asian Racing Conference. He's getting involved with some bloodstock work. Nice for him to get out there. I've never been to Asian Racing Conference, have you?
No, I haven't been either left, but I see a lot of guys go there. I see on social media, off to the Asian Racing Conference, off to the Asian Racing. Maybe we'll get the nod one day. I don't know. What is it? Just
they talk racing. They discuss from all countries. I know Gold Circle have sent representatives before. It's very interesting. So Jimbo's going to be there with his soggy cigar, and he'll be going through them. But at least I can talk sport to someone who can talk a bit of sport. James is blinkered by Arsenal. They won their last game. Nice for Arsene Wenger.
Nice for Arsene Wenger. He got a good send-off yesterday. I think there was 4 or 5 yesterday.
No, the 4 must have been offside. It was only 1-0.
Oh, 1-0, okay.
It was only 1-0. But Kev, I think Goodman should be back the way you was.
But no, it's a bit of a sad time. We've got to wait until end of August, September to start again.
Do you know it's their first away win this calendar year, Arsenal?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And City 100 points left.
Got it later, Kev.
38 games, you get 100 points, you deserve to win the league.
You deserve to, and they won it by about 19 points. Man United eked out a win.
Yeah.
Chelsea, there's got to be problems there. They're 7 days away from playing Man United in the FA Cup final. They go up to play the Geordies and they catch 3.
Yeah, I hope they play like that in the FA Cup.
But, they're going to raise their game. It's going to be a great game. 2 good sides.
Yeah.
And then, did you watch the Spurs game?
Spurs game
I've sent for new TVs.
9 goals left. I'd like to have been there.
Kev,
would have had a heart attack, but
we were 2-1 down.
Correct.
They had 2 clear-cut chances. Could have been 3-4-1. They still went 3-1 up. We came back. Lamela turned on. Kane started finding his feet. And we won 5 for the last 6 games. I haven't been happy watching Spurs. They finished 3rd, so they're going to get away with.
I don't know if it is at this time when they know they can't win the league or something. They
went out the FA Cup semi-final to United. You know, they lost to the team at the bottom of the log who got relegated. They lost 1-0 there. There's things like that can't endear you to fans. One thing I can say, Kev, they go to a new stadium next year.
Wow.
Spend millions. Do you know, last time they were at White Hart Lane, Kev, they had 19 games last year. They won 17 of them.
Yeah, no,
so going back home is good for us.
Yeah, and listen, it's going to be a beautiful stadium. And Wembley was the hoodoo for them before they even went there. And then they made it their home ground, they thought. Mohamed Salah.
Great player. What an exciting player. The key to a great player is, can you do it next year, because people know how good you are. And the last couple of games they tightened up on him, but it's been a year that you have to
first year ever left.
Fantastic. The man was
Golden Boot.
He deserves it. I think 32 goals in the Premier League. That's fantastic.
32, and York boy was 30. Harry Kane, he was only 2 behind.
It was fantastic. I think Mo Salah was the breath of fresh air that came to him. He was pushed all the way by De Bruyne for the PFA Player of the Year. They were 2 fantastic players.
Yeah. The interesting part about the whole thing left is that he was at Chelsea with Jose Mourinho.
Oh yeah.
And Jose said he's not ready for this yet.
Well, De Bruyne got kicked out. Salah got kicked out. You know, any good players have said no, we don't want you.
But Chelsea in those days was very powerful. They were powerful.
They got the money.
But
they were Man City. Chelsea, Liverpool, before they got American. And I say the people with the money get to the top, Kev.
Yeah, so I thought the 2 outstanding players in the Premier League, I must say, is the keeper for United, De Gea, and Salah. One is a keeper and one is a striker, but I mean,
it was
De Gea saved United.
But the World Cup, the World Cup's coming up, Kev. We're going to see all these players again.
Well, he'll play for Egypt.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Looks a little bit like Michael Aboud, the Egyptian cross-dresser.
He's going to Kiev with Tubbs.
I see they're going to go and watch the Champions League final.
Champions League final.
Do you know who went to the Champions League final when they were 3-0 down and won?
Crawford.
Brett. Yeah, I said, Brett, did you leave with all the rest of the fans at half-time? Because the cameras, they were leaving.
Well,
he says, I never sat there.
Drunk, they don't know they're at the game. But let's get on to racing, and we'll start off with our 3 to follow. Well, the first horse we found came from the Vaal on the 8th of May, and this was a horse that found support to Captain L from the powerful stable of Jeff Woodruff called Mojito Magic. And it runs second. You'll pick it up in the orange silks. And Kev, a smart debut, eh?
Very smart.
Let's have a look.
Drawn to left. As we saw earlier, a little bit sluggish away, but you know what I like about him, left?
What's that?
He puts him straight back into the race for a first timer, but he gets him in behind. But
he's riding well, Marco van Rensburg.
No, he's riding well. You know, we've lost a lot of the top jocks, and now it gives these guys a chance. If you watch him now, as a first timer, he gets himself in a little bit of a bunch. Normally they would have stuck their toes in. This horse is actually travelling, and he goes into that gap, which I thought was very impressive for a first timer. So he has galloped with other horses before by the looks of things at home.
It's a good run, because the horse that wins it is Sulka, because Royal Delight's off and gone in the white blinkers. But I like the way this first time I tried hard, Kev.
He tried very hard. He's up the inside over there. Sulka's got them stone cold at the moment over here. But Marco, you can see him running around a little bit green. Ears back, changes his stick now, gives it 1-2 in the left. And left, when you see the third horse 2 lengths, 2.5, 3 lengths behind him, it's always a good
sign.
Good sign. So for me, just watch Mojito Magic. I think over a little bit further next time, maybe the right horse.
Yeah, good point there, Kevin. That was out of Narnia. The man was Narnia, Captain Al of Narnia. Well done to Mr. Shaw. You're beginning to see his colours. He has a good few winners. And Klavervlei, the breeders there. Let's go on to our second one, and we're changing provinces again. We're going down to Kenilworth. This is a day later on Wednesday the 9th, and Justin Snaith stepped out, a philanthropist, at long odds. Let's have a look at this one.
Yeah, left, drawn 4. Another one, throws his head up, a little bit sluggish. I think the jock might have didn't have the neck strap, but straight into the race. He puts it behind the grey horse. You'll see as they switch up here, it follows the grey horse. And never travelling left. He's always pushing a little bit, just getting him into the race. There he is, up second behind the grey horse.
Robert Carty's riding it.
Robert Carty, yeah. So
what's interesting is the grey wins a very good race for Joey Ramsden. It's a horse called Star Angels, very quick. And at one stage, it looks like it's going to win by 6. As they run through the 2 furlong post, it skips 4 clear. But I did like the way that the runner-up, Margrethe, closes late.
Lovely action horse, Laf. You can see it there now. I mean, this over a little bit more ground, you know. I mean, it's 3 lengths behind them now, and now the rest of the field are dead and buried. And watch this now. It closes the gap in the last 50 metres. You can see now, the penny's dropped. Oh, hang on a sec. It's time for me to move on a bit. Bernard's in front. Look at this. Makes up 2 lengths. Oh, I'd love to see it in the 6 furlong next time. Justin knows what he's doing. 6 furlongs left. Kenilworth 6 furlongs.
Yeah, that's
Margrethe, I think, will be very hard to beat. Just keep an eye on it. You might be able to get it.
And this was bred by
Normandy, wasn't it?
Normandy. Let me have a good look. Yeah, bred by Normandy. Well done to them as well. They've been good breeders for years, and Robert Carty rode it. Okay, and the last one here is a barrier trial horse, and we've been trying to give you barrier trial horses all along, and we've certainly come up with some. Duncan Howell stepped out, a barrier trialist. And this was a smart performance. There were a couple of older horses, or a few older horses, and this was on its bike early. And have a look at this. Drawn towards the outside, Kev, there in the white silks. Yeah,
I'm drawn 7. Luke Ferraris having a nice run at the moment, so he knows what he's doing. Comes out. Duncan's hasn't been in the greatest of form, but he won the Fillies Guineas. But I mean, in general, he normally used to have his 2-3 winners a meeting. So his horses are coming back after the virus, but this horse is really...
He doesn't push his 2-year-olds. He's very good with his 2-year-olds. And you know, we're going towards the middle of May, and this is by What a Winter, and out of a Caesar mare, the front.
On the wrong leg, left. That's a little bit surprised Luke hasn't got it to change his legs. There where you see it change his legs as a straight...
Kev, explain to the public how you do that.
You just have to just shift your weight and move your head directly opposite of what leg you want to go on, and just shift your weight, and they normally just change your legs. But you can see now it's on the right leg, inside leg.
And it quickens away.
Quickens away, left. Look where the third horse is. The third horse must be 8 lengths behind him. Yeah, this is nice. As you know, as you said earlier, left, these barrier trials have been absolutely world class. We've found winners. Everything, it's exposed there. Guys, you come to the races next time, you know this horse he's fast. You know he's going to lead, hopefully. He's had a run virtually, and for me, I think these barrier trials are world class.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Happens everywhere around the world. It's there in front of you. Guys, come and have a look.
Well, you know, there was Jordan who won yesterday. I saw the barrier trial, I thought, this is a flyer.
And he was. He jumped down in front and never looked back.
Yeah, but this horse here, well done to the Duncan Howells. He stepped it out with Luke Ferraris. As you say, Luke's having a lot of winners.
How did you say it was bred again, left?
It's by What a Winter.
Yeah, so they must have.
There's a lot of speed in that family.
Must have paid nice money for him. He's been a great.
260,000, I think they played. Himmel and Arder, Dave Hepburn Brown bred it. Well done to him as well. He's got to be chuffed with that. And I believe we might be having a look at an advert that's coming up here. And let's see if our slot's in place for the advert of our great friend Jimbo Goodman. Now have a look at this. Those are his mom's silks. You know, he's used his mom's silks, and he is. We're getting it in line, but James is off, as I say, at the Asian Racing Conference, and he's also doing a bit of bloodstock. So he's putting it out there for people to consider him, because he's going to Australia next. Jim goes off. He's going to the wheelies.
Doing a bit of mileage, He's been to Australia, Dubai,
Asia. He's a traveller. He's certainly a Phineas Fogg at the moment, but he'll buy you the horse of your dreams. Kilimanjaro Horses is at gmail.com if you want to get hold of Jimbo. Well done to Jim. He's travelling along. And let's go on to our next slot now. This shouldn't happen. Okay, what was that horse doing?
I don't know, Lef, if you watched the 8 o'clock movie last night when they robbed the bank, everybody lay on their backs and act like cats. So you might have watched the movie last night.
I watched the movie, this shouldn't happen. Was that with the 3 old bullies?
Yeah, the 3 old bullets.
Yeah, I'd seen it, very good.
Yeah, fantastic
movie. But you can watch the unabridged version of This Shouldn't Happen, and it's always amusing to see what these animals get up to. Let's go on to our next section, which is Plum of the Week.
Leader and tailed off his Holiday Romance. Top of the lane, Princess Vicky, Cause and Effect. Towards the inside of that one, Rainbow in the Sky. Lily Teresa, down the inside, Township Melody. Coming to the last 300, Princess Vicky leads it. Lily Teresa's running on towards the outside. Just Vogue's also coming home late. Princess Vicky the leader. Just Vogue is starting to close it down with 100 meters to go. Just Vogue's coming at Princess Vicky, continues to roll though. Princess Vicky from Just Vogue, Cause and Effect and Ginger Biscuit.
Well, the well-related Princess Vicky's our Plum of the Week, and Kev, I thought it stood out. And Kev opened at 18 to 10, started at even money.
Yeah, very generous. I had a small little tickle on it, and 5 minutes before the off, there's plenty 12 to 10 available.
Interbet, I got 13 to 10 on Interbet. That's why you got to get on to Interbet to get these stretches.
But if you just wait, you can see there's always somebody there looking for
a bit more,
a little bit more, or giving you a little bit more. It's normally the bookmakers. They've got that side of the betting department. But there was good value for money there, and you didn't have to didn't have to sweat, Lef.
Yeah, won very well.
Into the front,
especially after barrier trial, 9.5 lengths it won by. But we'll be back after this break.
Best race time odds, transparency of betting markets, friendly and super efficient staff, the ability to negotiate odds, a full service tote with no limits, which is very important for exotic players, loyalty program, speedy withdrawal of funds, full odds multiple betting, and excellent in-play markets. These are just some of the many reasons that come to mind as to why I believe, as a serious punter, there is no online operator in South Africa that can realistically come close to matching what Interbet has to offer. Put simply, there's no other site like it, and the ability to negotiate odds adds to my fun and enjoyment. Interbet, where the professionals bet.
There, as we said, they're the sales that are coming up at the Gold Coast. Jimbo is going to the weanlings, and I will be there for the yearlings, which is probably a week after him. So interesting, it starts there. It's a fantastic sale. You can buy some really good horses. Only one race we're going to show you this week. It happened down at the big day in Port Elizabeth. We're going to show you the East Cape Derby, and the visitors came into town again, and Brett Crawford stepped out a horse that is, I think, cost 1.6 million, beautifully bred by Dynasty, and shows how good it is here. Let's go and have a look at the race first. This is the East Coast Derby from Saturday.
You're in the lighter blue, followed by Street Fighting Man, Run Red. Now Widow's Lap makes a place or two, followed further back by Queen Forever. American Landing, Sabbatical, and Multi Gold is a good 25 lengths off the leader. At the top of the straight in the World Sports Betting East Cape Derby, Golden Shamrock, 600 metres left to go, 2 lengths in front of Desert Chief. The pack are all queuing up, looking for position, with Kimberly Star in third, Street Fighting Man, Run Red, American Landing. The Dictator's under pressure. Widow's Lamp has got about 8 to make up. Then comes Bologna and Chappaquiddick. Sabbatical also being kept quiet. 300 metres left to go. Golden Shamrock continues to run. Second place is Desert Chief, and he's now one pace. American Landing, Widow's Lamp, Street Fighting Man, Run Red. It's still Golden Shamrock in the lead, but American Landing is all over it, and he's got dead aim, and that's that. American Landing, with a massive turn of foot, will win the East Cape Derby in style. American Landing won it, Widow's Lamp second, Run Red third, and to Golden Shamrock's credit, he ran fourth.
Well, there we go. American Landing proving too good off what was a cracking gallop, and well done to Lance Sherrill, of course, Brett Crawford, Michael de Brolio. Well, he owned the mare, you know. He's bred some good horses. Keeping good mares gives you a chance.
Yeah, he had that good that same mare. He raced her. She was good. When Rhys van Wyk was still riding for the Ferraris team.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. Sabina Park, and that was American Landing, and it's come through. It's a horse that's on the up.
Absolutely.
We're going to hear probably in a year's time. It'll be a big runner in the major features, because it won there by a long way.
One easy, but what those two guys were doing in front, I really don't know. I mean,
if you were the trainer, what would you have said to them?
What I would. That's why I don't want to be a trainer left. I mean, Muzieni was one of them.
Muzi across the Yeni.
Muzi across the Yeni was one of them. I don't know. Maybe did they know it was 2-4?
I don't know. Maybe they didn't, you know, but it's Brett Crawford.
Secretariat can't go that speed.
They thought it was a relay race. They could pass the baton
from
one to the other.
They were trying to pass the baton to each other.
Yeah. Okay, Kev, let's go and look at some of the racing news, but it's always good to start with that. And don't forget, as I say, Magic Millions, this is their slot. We are going over to sales. If anyone wants to contact James or I, you certainly can. But interesting for a local owner. Now, this is very interesting. Hassan Adams, major player, you know, in Cape Town and Johannesburg to a lesser degree. He has got a stallion called Time Thief, which he brought out here from Australia. It's notched up its 5th stake winner. It's on the stallion log, I think it's 28th. It's really done well, Kev.
Yeah, Lef, I must say one thing about Hassan. He does his homework with these stallions, and He's very passionate about the game, and he's put a lot of money into the game. He's got horses everywhere now. He's got our good friend, the old trainer who's running the show for him, Daryl Hodgson.
Daryl, yeah.
Daryl's running the show for him.
Yeah, Dean Katz is his main trainer.
Dean Katz,
and Daryl's the racing manager.
So Dean Katz was assistant trainer to Daryl.
That's right.
And Daryl has moved on with Hassan, which is fine. And Daryl's been in the game a long time. Let Dan Katz take over. But
this is a big plug for the stallion. This stallion could, and maybe I'm preempting things, could end up back in Australia if they keep the ones that they've got there, like this horse who won is called In Good Time. If a horse like this can go out there and win races, and there's now moving up the stallion log. The Australian stallion log is so competitive, Kev.
Very competitive. So they like the horses that come early, and now I was reading an article, there's a plea there for now, they want stayers.
They've had every chance. They got Galileo they didn't want.
Exactly.
Well,
I don't know why, but I think the big money is in the 2- and 3-year-old speed.
Going through the Blue Diamond and, of course, the Slipper. But, Kev, they've had the Coolmore, very good at shuttling. They've shuttled in some of their best horses. I know Camelot, Celebration. These are great race horses. And they go in there.
They don't want them.
They don't want them. Look, Animal Kingdom is firing too.
Yeah.
Internationally, he's moved up the log in Australia as well. But it's just strange how they want their speed stallions.
They want the speed, and that's it. I think that's where the money is. That's
where the money is.
But there's the Derby and the staying race. The staying race is there for Africa. I mean,
James made a statement on the show. They'll never win the big race, the Cup again. The Melbourne Cup's too far because they don't train. They don't breed for that, Lef. Yeah, they don't breed for that. But that's what James says. But it's something someone will lurk up. But let's go on with the news now. Talking about jockeys, Kev. But just hang on before there's a stallion. There's a big stallion. The other day there was a sale. I think top 9 lots about first season stallion, who's called Spirit of Boom. Kevin, he's by Sicalo. His first season, he's a 16th stake winner.
Yeah, that's
phenomenal.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. So remember the name, Spirit of Boom. Spirit of Boom. I don't know if we can afford them.
Is he Australia you're talking about?
Yeah. So he's freshman side, got it wrapped up. You know, Invincible did the same thing a couple of years ago. Chad Schofield, he's doing well in Hong Kong.
Great rider, Lef. I must
be
honest. I watch all Hong Kong racing. He's a very, very good rider. As you said,
he's had 34 winners, or 32 winners. 11 have been for Tony Millard, so they've teamed up, eh?
Tony's got some nice horses there.
Yeah, good trainer.
He's doing well. Tony and David all done well there for years.
Yeah,
you know,
they're two great trainers.
Yeah, they're not the John Sizes and the
Tony
Moores
and
the Cruisers, but they're below that every year in, year out.
A big one comes along. They find Derby winners. They find everything.
And I think the way Tony bought and David bought at the sales this year, hoping that...
Well, they bought like the world was ending.
Well, they must know something about the
value.
The quarantine might be opening in Hong Kong to go straight from here to Hong Kong.
You know what a big plus that would be.
Well, if they can do that, can you imagine if those Hong Kong guys, they've got millions to spend left and they're getting value for money for 4 million rand.
Yeah,
it's
a sell topper here, and it's run of the mill.
It's 1.8 million Hong Kong dollars. That's peanuts for those guys. They'll come here and spend that money as long as they can get them out.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
To get them out.
I think the rest of the world will be looking at that. And again, we've banged this drum before, Kev, but you're right. Maybe they know something.
I think that could be happening. I've been reading a lot about it, that quarantine in Hong Kong, because they are very strict there, and they're very professional. They can open that up to Hong Kong. A for away.
Australia, just staying with Australia for the moment, they've implemented a new apprentice system. They found that the apprentices, you know, Kev, you've got the country racing and you've got the city. You know, the stake money's different, and some of the great apprentices and jockeys over the years have come from the country system. They've come in and they've made it to the top, but they find that the apprentices coming in are getting penalised. So the system that they brought about in Victoria is that 3 kilos off until you had your first 20, then 2 kilos first 50, and 1.5 kilos first 80. You know, in the countries they've said no, give them 4 kilos for their first 5 wins, so they can
give them a bit of confidence.
Yeah. What's your take on these things, Kev?
Listen, Lef, I'm all for getting an apprentice allowance.
Yeah.
I'm 100% for it. When I started the academy, I was 13, turning 14. I was maybe just turned 15 when I had my first ride. Mm. Today, these guys are starting. Lyle Hudson was already matriculated. He was 19, 20 years old, and he was getting 4 kilos. He had already ridden 38 winners in
Kevin,
the work class.
That points to certainly to a situation where maybe we're taking them in too young, and it's not for me to offer advice on how the academy.
No.
But the Lyle Hewitson case, he's got himself his matric, which they can get at the academy, but he's come in knowing more with what he wants to do with his life than some of these guys who come in at
100%. So I think it's a very good system.
So you like this Australian system? It's similar to ours, Kev.
It's very similar to ours. I think there should an age group should come into it as well. If the guy's 22 years old, you can't give him 4 kilos off.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
He's much stronger. He's much more developed. He must probably
should be a better rider.
Should be a better rider. He shouldn't deserve it. But like you say, give him.
Again, it's contentious,
give him 4 kilos.
Because people say, "Hey, you know, you've been unfair on someone." I'm just being the devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, you got
a point. You got a point.
But I'm saying, give him the first 4 kilos for his first 5 winners. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But left, 4 kilos is nearly 10 pounds. You've seen it. We see it in Durban. These guys get 4 kilos. Gone. Luke Ferraris.
In your day, Kevin, used to see them in front, little appy. What do you say?
But they used to only get, when they started getting 4 kilos, you couldn't get past him. But when we used to get 2.5 for 20 winners, 1.5 for 20 winners, so up to 40, after 40, buy you on your own.
On your own. So they're reviewing it all the time.
1.5 kilos to 80 winners. I would like to see how many apprentices in Australia are 80 winners. How long is the apprenticeship? 5 years. England, I think it's 3 years in England.
I think maybe your apprenticeship is until your others winners.
Yeah.
So you're 28-year-old apprentice. I don't know. I'm guessing, but it's a very good question.
Yeah. How long is your apprenticeship? 1.5 for 80 winners. 80 winners is a lot of winners.
A lot of winners, sure.
Especially in Australia, competitive. Those guys don't just give.
But you can race anywhere. You can
race in the country. You can go and race out in the bush. Yeah. So that does.
I see your mate Robbie Frad was in Mauritius.
He had 2 winners yesterday. A lot of hype and that. He's definitely by far the best rider there at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah, he's riding for the best.
He's done well in Australia.
He's done very well. He left a big gap there. He opened up, but as I read about it, he said it is going into winter now. So have a little bit of a break. He was probably done 6 or 7 or 8 years in a row there now. There's a little break. He knows Mauritius. I rode with him in the Mauritius. He knows the track well. He's riding for a top stable.
Is the track the same as when you guys went there initially?
Lafford, they made the straight an extra 20. They took the finishing post and moved it 25 furthers up the hill. Up the hill. So you've got that extra 25 meters, which I think does help, because up the hill you get
young David Eblem, what's his name? Eblem's son, Derek David. I mean, sorry,
he's there as well now.
He's booting them home.
He's booting. He's riding. He's got a bit of. He knows that place as well.
He's doing well. Kev, just talking about internationals, the last crop of Scat Daddies and incredible stallion. They had the Deauville sales. The Breeze Up sale, big money.
Must be after the Derby, Lef. I mean, Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
The Derby.
The Coolmore went to 825,000 for the Scat Daddy, the last one. It's his last crop.
Yeah, it's a lot of money left, but Coolmores have got the money, but all they want to do is find
the big horses.
Find a big horse. I don't know if they want a dirt horse. They want to do the Derby.
They're looking at everything.
Kentucky Derby. That's what I was looking for. But because they took Mendelssohn there, and I mean, absolutely got taken out
in
the race, and they had a downpour of a deluge of rain, and
Just talking about trainers, Kev, in Australia, we seem to be banging the Australian drum a bit, but the trainer called Smurden out there, who's got a life ban, basically for giving cocktails to his horses, and another trainer got 4 years, another trainer got 3 years, and I think basically it's the court came out, they're giving it tripart paste, and they're giving sodium bicarb,
Yeah, I don't know much about what that does for a horse or anything.
Yeah, they obviously drenching the sodium bicarb in, and maybe just orally giving the tripart, but...
What is it, left tripart? What is it? It's like a vitamins or what?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I don't know what it is. It's an amino acid of sorts. I don't know the compound breakdown, but I do know that the truck driver was involved.
He got off?
No, I think he got no. He got their offences, well, their fines are staggered, Kev, and he was probably doing it in the truck because you got races, because it's a matter of timing, and they hit him with 115 cases.
Yeah,
the trainers of a report. I read the lawyer's report. He's a broken man. He shattered that he got life. So there could be an appeal, but we've had all the cobalt dramas, and now we get these.
They've got to cut it out, Lef.
These milkshakes. Yeah, you got to stop these milkshakes.
You got to stop it. I don't know much about it, Lef. If it does help or if it doesn't help, I really haven't. I've never been involved in that side of the horses.
You dope yourself?
Vitamin C and vitamin B.
Okay, you're a vitamin man. Right, Kev, another article I want to talk to you about is Kieran McAvoy was pulled up and given a suspension the other day by the authorities because he had dropped his hands in the last 20 metres. He tried to say in mitigation that he'd got done at the stretch, he couldn't get a run, and by the time it was over. And you been guilty of dropping your hands?
Yeah, Lef, I was terrible like that.
And did you get nailed?
I eventually got nailed. Yeah, they found me. Not they found me. My first time I was winning a race in Joburg, and I put my hands down in Bar and Forster. They gave me 3 months. That was on the verge of Ipitome running in Dubai. It was a very, very expensive court case. Mistake. I showed them our winning tickets from the trainer, how much we had to win. It was a lot of money in those days. I paid back the difference in stake to the trainer, Mr. Erasmus. He was not a big trainer. I paid back the difference in stake because he owned the filly as well. I'd done everything. I put my hands up. I was guilty. I went past to win the race, and I put my hands up.
Did you know you'd lost?
I knew I'd got nabbed. It was one of those Tuesday nights at the old Newmarket. I was sick.
Yeah.
I got a...
What did the fine?
Eventually I had to pay the fine. It was a hefty fine, everything. I think in those days, Lef, I'll tell you straight up.
Did you ever get caught after that?
I got caught again after that. I think
you
it was
got a short memory, eh?
Yeah, no, it's lazy, Lef. You get lazy. When you're riding good horses all the time and you ride one bad one and you put your hands down. But yeah, it is a big problem.
Are they handling it right here? Just from your outside perspective, you don't ride anymore now. You're out there, you're presenting, you're on TV, you're watching racing, you're commenting on chances of horses. Are we doing enough in this country?
I say yes, definitely. Okay. It is one of the top priorities, I think, with the jocks, putting their hands down.
They know, eh?
Striker is the same as me. If he feels something's amiss with the horse, he can go put his hands down. You know, I'm not just picking on Striker.
No, sure. If something's amiss with the horse, Kev, it's not the last 20 metres, you know.
But then it comes back and the vet checks and the vet finds nothing. Now what?
Then you're in trouble.
Well, then you're in trouble. But Striker would say, no, I felt something wrong with the horse.
Yeah, but that's the horse running, dropping out fourth, fifth thing. You know,
fourth, fifth, I got lumbered for 6th once in Cape Town.
Did you?
6th.
Yeah, well,
25,000 rand fine.
Took you a long time to learn.
Took me a long time to learn. I used to walk around with my hands in the air. I didn't want to leave my hands down. I used to walk around like I was at a gun on my back. So they are doing enough.
You're happy with that, you know.
Yeah, and Tex Lorena and the guys keep telling us, guys, ride the horse to the finish unless it's broken its leg or something.
Yeah.
Lef, I got done in England for being too aggressive on a horse. I rode a horse at Goodwood, or one of those big races, for Jane Chapelain, and she was trying to qualify it for the big race in Australia, the 3-2,
the Cup,
the Melbourne Cup. And she said, Kevin, we've got to run in the first 6. And I think I was about 7, and I chopped this thing up. And I came back and they called me, and I thought, what am I going in for? Yeah.
Did you get in the top 6 first? You got
no,
to follow
I finished 8th.
Okay, so
being too aggressive on a horse. I said, please write that down on my CV. I want to take it back to South Africa. Because Alex would never have believed me. And
excessive use of the whip, we can't condone.
No, it wasn't more. Yeah, it was a little bit excessive. But I was doing my utmost to try and get the horse in the first 6 for Jane Chapelain, and didn't. Stayed like a poor relative, and it just plodded. One of those. You know where we were, Left? We were at York. It was the York Festival.
Yeah.
And so they are doing enough in this country. I really think so, and it's something that I'm guilty of.
It's always got to be monitored.
Well, it is. It's the TVs today. You can't get away with it. Finished in class.
Can't ball temper.
You can't ball temper even if there's a blackout.
Right. Let's do one. Just Galileo. We were talking about him earlier. 263 stakes winners. Amazing. Yeah. And then our boy Asmussen, now he's broken the record for number of winners again.
I'm open to correction. I think it's 6,000.
Amazing.
6,000 winners.
But he's got so many horses.
Yes, he's got horses everywhere.
But Kev, you know the man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He brought Curlin to, well, that was a long time ago, Left.
Yeah.
I drew next to Curlin in the World Cup with Lucky Find, and this animal came in next to me, and I looked up like this. Thought this is the closest I want to get to Curlin. It's amazing how these American horses live. That was the old Ned Al Sheba. They used to go in the middle and the outside of the track for the first part of the race. He used to jump and one little turn down the back stretch. They used to go to the middle of the track to try and get those horses just to relax. And then slowly come in. You've seen him. Okay. You've seen Frankie do it on Dubai Millennium.
Yeah,
you've seen him do it.
And people say, what's this idiot doing?
What is this like doing? But they just do it. I mean, we saw Jeff Lloyd one day on, I think, Model Man and a horse for Gene Hemming.
Main Man.
Main Man and Model Man. Jeff jumped out and he was virtually on the outside fence until the bottom corner and cleared and came in and he beat Model Man a short
Yeah, that's right. 49 played 58 the weights.
Yeah.
Kev, we've got to look at that log.
We've got to have a look. This is the July.
Yeah,
this is
brilliant. Let's have a look at this log quickly before we finish. Now, Kev, you know what? I just looked at the betting. I went through the anti-post betting.
Snaith, 1, 2, 3.
16 to 1, the fourth horse, 1, 2, 3, Snaith.
And left, and just some other news he told me. I spoke to him on Friday night. He said, I've got another one coming up. It is the 1900 on Saturday. Be here. He says he's got another one. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4 in the betting.
Could be Strathton. I'm guessing, but it could be Strathton. But let's have a look at this. Oh, Susanna, we're going to see her probably go in the Group 1 Will-Avington.
Can't wait to see her. She's
Coral Fever, Robbie Sage, very good trainer.
Won the big race.
Won the big race there beautifully at 120. Liege, I haven't seen him for some time.
Liege is one of those horses left. If he comes to the party, he's a very good horse.
Very good horse. He's a dynasty, yeah.
He blows hot and cold.
Surcharge, been the bridesmaid, but solid, stays well.
You got to put him in. If he can draw, if he can guarantee a draw for this horse, you'll see the best of it. He's drawn on the outside every time. Let's get the next 4.
Yeah, the next lot we're going to look at, they'll slide them up. Do it again.
Very good colt.
Fantastic. Guineas winner, very good colt. He has been the Derby runner-up in Cape Town, the favourite at the moment. Very good horse, Kev.
Great horse. I think I found Jeff Lloyd to get the ride, but there seemed to be a bit of a problem with that, asking for too much money. Abashiri, Michael Azzi.
Very good run.
Got him. He's getting him left. He's taking him a long time for the Triple Crown.
Triple Crown knocks him.
To get him back. And he was a little bit stiff the other day against Robbie Sage. He was a little bit stiff, but I went and spoke to Mike afterwards, and he's very happy with this horse.
Sylvan Star, very good horse.
Top horse.
Top horse. This ran on beautifully for third the other day. Another horse we want to see, Kev, is African Night Sky. We haven't seen it.
The talk of the town. This was Anton Marcus's ride early. When Anton gets on a horse early, you must know something. So,
yeah, he's won it about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, so he knows what he's on for there. He's coming out soon, so we're going to see African Night Sky.
Okay, that's 8 of the top 20.
Justin must have a nightmare putting his horse
Lady in Black, Group 1 winner for Dennis Dreyer.
I think a little bit high in the rating, but could be a little bit in the deep end.
Secret Potion won the Oaks up there for Jeff Woodruff, owned by a local lad, Sherwin Jerry, a wonderful from paid 100 grand, and they've had great fun with this horse. And
stays like a poor relative.
It will go in against probably O Susanna, I would suggest. In the
3-year-old, won the
Cascapedia from the top yard.
Mark de Cock's got to have a runner. I'm happy to see that.
Gold Standard has showed that the trip, he can go the trip.
The talk was all Gold Standard. Gold Standard was the original anti-post favourite.
Yeah.
It's drifted like a barge at the moment.
We've got to see it again. But a very good horse in his day.
I think he's either running in the 19.
Not in the 19, no, but he's running.
He's running.
Fact Leader's running in the 19 from the stablemate. Ran a very good race in the Group 3 second the other day, just beaten. So the talk is this horse could be Kotson's leading light.
Perovskia.
Yeah. Perovskia won the Drill Hall, Kev.
The Russian Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah, the Russian Red Bull. Very good run.
Great run. Let's have a see if you can see the trip out.
Fort Ember. I know Pierre rides him in the 1900. Good horse. Very good horse. Star Express, very talented as well.
Yeah,
109, these horses. And then the last 2 to make up the 18. White River, who I believe has been gelded, Kev.
Has he?
I believe White River. He's the one who threw Anton Marcus.
Listen, he's Anton said he's a very good horse. I actually watched the race with Anton with ice on his arm. They thought he just sprained it or something, but he's got pins and screws in it. And he said, Kevin, this is a very good horse. Watch. He said he'll win. Halfway during the race, he said he'll win the Guineas. And
he
ran 4th. He was
3rd, I think.
3rd or something. But he found trouble. He was running in between horses. I think geldings.
Sniper shot walk past him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah.
He is a very good horse, White River. He proved it in Cape Town. And Royal enough danced a few dances in the sense that this is by Piero. Piero is flying in Australia, and Frank's done a good job with this horse. And on his day, he's more than useful.
He's got to, he's 110. He's not 110 for nothing, but it'll be nice to see guys like Frank Robinson, and then we have runners in the July.
Of course.
It's not the strongest July left I've ever seen in my life.
I agree with you.
But Justin Snaith's got the A team.
Oh, he's got the A team.
We've been waiting for
and he might have someone promoting from the B team on Saturday.
He said to me, Kev, I might have another one that's coming up. So let's wait and see. Justin's our boy.
Yeah.
He brought a very powerful string down here. It's all about draws as well, Lef. You could see Osuzena could end up drawing 20 and take a damper off it. And it's all about a little bit of luck as well in the July. So, but I'm not saying July the 20 is a bad draw. We've seen quite a few win from draw 20, Dynasty, etc. and so forth.
Yeah, well, there we are. There is the 18 on the log at the moment. There's another 7 just behind it. Will
change, Lef.
Absolutely. Horses will come out of there, and it will change a lot. Probably 12 of those will probably run, Kev, and you'll get 6 or others coming in.
And you get a steward's discretion as well, don't you?
Right at the end, if it's very close, they try and run it to what seems
to be the best
to
the log.
Yeah, they try. Okay. You know, they try. That's why they put it out there. But there's going to be contentious issues. You know, if you've got a 5 furlong horse going against the horses on 4th and a 1900,
100%.
You know where they're going to go. But that's just what it is. So that's the latest on the log. And coming up in your call, very interesting. James managed to meet with another James Bester, international bloodstock agent, the guy who bought me Harry's son, a guy who's bought horses all around the world, regarded as possibly the best or one of the best bloodstock agents in the world. He flies all over the place. He came out to our national sales. James got to speak to James Bester, a man you've always got to listen to. He's a raconteur and he's a very intelligent man. Kev, thanks very much. Wonderful. We're back again next week. James is in Lebanon, I think, or somewhere.
It'll be a fantastic laugh, and I'd like to see next week we should have a new log for the July.
Correct, because we'll have had the 1900s.
Champion season's happening, guys. You've got to be here. You've got to come watch the racing. It's absolutely brilliant. We've only had one meeting, which is the Daisy Guineas Day, and we just saw action-packed day. So it's all heading towards the big one, the July, and that's what we're looking forward to. So thanks, Lef. It'll be great to hope James finds a champion, and we can be able to talk a year down the line. We can talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, there we go. That's the end of this segment. We'll be back with your call.
At the National Yearling Sales, we find all types of people that arrive, and these people mostly know a little bit about horses, but some of them know a hell of a lot more than a little about horses, and one of them is James Bester. Now, for those of you that are uninitiated, James Bester is probably one of the doyen bloodstock agents in the world. And he's very kindly decided to come and chat to us today because he's got some interesting stories. I'm going to stay away from the interesting stories about our childhood. But James, nice having you with us.
Great to be here. Thanks, James.
Now, you actually are a South African.
Yes, indeed. I was born in Welkom, of all places, grew up in Bloemfontein and then Durban and ended up in Cape Town. Went to school with you, as I recall.
We did spend a few years together. But then from there, you decided to get into the horse business. How was it that you got into the horse business?
Well, I always loved riding. I recall riding at Clifton Nottingham Road with you, and that was my first love.
You never beat me.
You did win Horseman of the Year. I was runner-up to you, though.
You were runner-up, of course.
And horses were always my first love, but I went to university, and my parents were quite keen that I should follow in their footsteps, and so I did a law degree, but felt that horses were my life, so I decided to follow a life with horses instead.
And then you obviously ended up in England.
Yeah, well, look, it was hard to break into racing, so first I became a stipendiary steward. I had gone through the army and been a detective in the South African police force, and seeing that stipendiary stewardship involved a degree of legal knowledge and a degree of detective work, if you like, and the horsemanship that I felt was my forte. I became a stipendiary steward, and then a race caller with Jahan Malherbe, and joined Jahan in form bloodstock. Somehow ran into Ben Sangster, son of Robert Sangster, who invited me over to England and gave me a job as well on the Isle of Man. So I worked for Robert Sangster on the Isle of Man.
What did he put you into to start your?
Well, I was assistant to his general manager, which means everything was covered. You know, everything from sales to racing to pedigrees, and the assistants usually do all the donkey work, which I'm grateful for because I covered a large area of horsemanship and of racing and breeding. And Robert at that time was probably the biggest racehorse owner in the world. He had about 1,500 horses around the world, including in South Africa and Venezuela, all over Europe and America and Australia. And that's where I started to set my sights on Australia.
And how was it working for him? I hear he was, I knew him vaguely, but I actually once played in his golf tournament in Barbados.
Right, but, well, it was wonderful. I mean, Robert was a true sportsman whose word was his bond. Handshake deals were all you ever needed with him. He was a raconteur, a bon vivant, and he loved characters. So we hung around with a lot of colourful characters, the Billy McDonalds of the world, and we went racing every weekend, and obviously it was an eye-opening thing for me.
And you became best friends with him?
Very close indeed, so that every time he came to Australia after I'd left, he helped me get my first job in Australia. And we would go out to dinner and we would do all sorts of things I can't talk about on camera. But he was a wonderful man, yes, we were good friends.
So from there, now you decide Australia is where you're going to be, and you moved there as a bloodstock consultant.
Yeah, initially I got a job with Barrelmill Stud, which is now owned by Jerry Harvey, the Magic Millions man. And that led to a job with Arrowfield Stud. And Arrowfield and Coolmore were bringing in stallions, dual hemisphere stallions. And one way and another I drifted the Coolmore way when the split came between Arrowfield and Coolmore. And I've been associated with Coolmore ever since.
You're actually a bloodstock consultant for them. You do a
yeah, look, I'm a bloodstock consultant in my own right. Excuse me, but I'm also contracted by Coolmore. I do 10 days a month for Coolmore and do stock assessment and some marketing of the stallions and some keeping an eye on the racehorses, so quite a few things.
Only in Australia or
just in Australia?
And how many horses would they have there, Coolmore?
Probably, let's say 50 in training, mid-50s, 55 in training. But obviously brood mares, I'd say 200 brood mares, and stallions, they stand 10 to 15 stallions every year.
We were actually discussing it, Paul and I, the other day on our show, the stallion fees in Australia for Coolmore. And I think you've got American Pharaoh coming, haven't you?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he came out last season as well.
That's the biggest coup ever. How do you organise something like that?
Well, Coolmore owns American Pharaoh, so...
Is Zayat not involved in the horse anymore?
No, he raced the horse, but Coolmore bought the stallion career. And as soon as he retired, off he went to Ashford Stud. And Coolmore's always taken the view that they don't earn any money grazing in the paddock in the off-season, so they might as well do dual hemisphere duties. So American Pharaoh came over. But of course, he's an American legend. He's not an Australian-type horse. So the great thing about that is that in order to make him popular or attractive to mare owners, they have to pull his fee right down.
Yes.
So he stood at 60,000 Australian dollars, or 50,000
And what
US
is he in America?
Well, he was about 2 to 3 times, between 2 and 3 times that, I'd say.
Which it's ridiculous, because the one thing the one stallion I love that you've got there is Uncle Mo. And he's been very unpopular in Australia.
Yes, indeed. He doesn't come to Australia anymore. He came for 2 seasons, 3 seasons perhaps. And he just wasn't getting support from breeders. These days, and I see it happening in South Africa a little too, once the shuttle stallions had done their job, like Danehill and Last Tycoon and others, Australians started to favour the homegrown product. the Redoutes Choices, who were born there, raced there, proven on, you know, on those circuits. Snitzel the same, not a single doubt. I am invincible. Sometimes horses like Churchill, who's coming out this season, wonderful horse, and Caravaggio,
even better,
can be underestimated now by the Australian market and therefore stand at very attractive fees compared with what they stand for overseas. I see here, for instance, your Captainels and your Jetmasters and those sorts of horses have now become the flavour of the month. Your soft falling reins, horses proven in this South African context, are probably more popular now than the imports, are they not?
I think that Elevation was probably the first real horse that, you know, caught the eye of South African horses, and then obviously, as you say, Jetmaster came after him.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
But it's been more and more difficult to buy really quality horses from South African point of view with the value of our rand. And
yeah, absolutely,
you know,
of course. And Australia is very fortunate in that regard that we have probably the best melting pot of stallions in the world, because in each stud season we have them from England, Ireland, France, America, Japan, all over the world. Horses come to the Southern Hemisphere to stand in our Southern Hemisphere season. We had Galileo there, we had
and he was
Giant's
unpopular.
He was, because, you know, horses for courses is the oldest saying in racing, and what you found was that the Galileos, not so much the racing aspect, probably the training aspect didn't suit them, the way we train our horses on race tracks, tight bends.
And they take time to mature. Australians seem to like fast horses.
Absolutely. Precocity is highly valued, and we want 2-year-olds to get out there. And we may have... Galileo had 4 stakes winners in his first 2-year-old crop, which people forget, but they didn't go on with it, and they were probably busted. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Giant's Causeway didn't work there, but became champion sire in America. Galileo's the best sire on the planet, probably in history.
Without a doubt, yeah.
But Australia wasn't for him.
Talking about South Africa, you've had a long association, and your association really is with the Platinum operation.
Yes, many years ago, 20-something years ago, Chris Snaith suggested to Sabina Platinum that they should buy overseas and that they should use me, because Chris and I went back a long way and used to ride horses together, show jump together, and that started the association, which has been wonderful. We sourced horses like Laser Fair, who was a champion.
She was a champion, yeah.
And Joie de Gris, who was a champion.
Yeah, okay, carry on.
So it was a successful partnership.
Yeah.
And whilst Sabina doesn't come to Australia every year anymore, she even indicated she might come out next year, but she likes to bring me over here to help her team buy horses.
Magic Millions is a headline sponsor of ours, and we always see you there. We have a good time. A good sale?
Fantastic sale.
You can buy anything there, can't you?
Yes, and look, it became a sale that grew on type. It wasn't a sale for pedigrees. As a result, breeders put in their precocious horses, their speedy horses, that may have lacked a little pedigree, but were dead-set racehorses. And they've built up a formidable record, the Magic Millions, of graduates, to the point where now they're on a par almost with Inglis in terms of averages and highest prices. Inglis still, because they have the very best pedigrees at the top end, might outdo Magic Millions, but across the board, Magic Millions has taken a huge market share from Inglis.
James, it must have been difficult for a man who's South African born and bred to go and live amongst those Aussies. Have you fitted in?
Yes, indeed. It's so similar, really. The Aussies love sport, they love the sunshine, they love a beer, they love a punt. And it's great. We have racing every day, and high-quality racing all across Australia. It's just been wonderful, I have to say.
Well, I must say it's been fantastic having you here with us, and you know, expanding on some of those views and what you're involved in, and really we love seeing you back here. I know that you've got a couple of real good friends here.
I love coming back. I have a brother who still lives in South Africa and a lot of friends, and getting to see them each year is fantastic. Well, even if it does lead to hangovers like the one I have today after the Mouton's Hook party last night.
That's a bit of a party, isn't it?
Oh, it was unbelievable, and I don't even know how I got home, but I got home.
As long as you got home.
I got back here.
That's what it's about, yeah. James Bester, one of our greatest friends from down under, and he's still a South African boykie, born and bred, but my goodness, has he made it in the bloodstock industry. And it's really great to be able to chat to people like this. We spend our time at sales, talking about pedigrees, talking about horses, and then, as you see, having a good time too. Until next time, enjoy.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.